Zarel was positioned in the middle of the chamber of the Galactic Council. Their voice echoed off the chilly metal walls, carrying the burden of looming disaster. "We are on a precipice, distinguished members. To fight a war against these people is to invite an eternal vendetta. They are survivors. They never give up. Chasers who flourish in adversity." On the other side, General Kreese of the Jornx Federation sneered, his jaws quivering in annoyance. "Your worries are exaggerated. Humans from Corvia are primitive. This council is weak because of its divide. We need not flinch in the face of a race that has hardly stepped into the vast divide of the universe. That's precisely why they are dangerous, General Kreese," Zarel countered. "Their history is a mosaic of triumph. They splinter, yes, but when united against a common enemy, they are unstoppable." The room filled with whispers, the voices of hundreds, of representatives creating a mosaic of fear, arrogance, and curiosity. Zarel's voice rang out again, sharp and resolute. "Starting a needless war against a species we should consider as potential allies would not only bring immediate consequences, but would sow chaos across the galaxy." Yet the Council's vote was swift. Zarel's heart sank as the results were displayed overhead. Most had voted for involvement. The path to conflict had been chosen. The Council's forces, under the command of General Kreese, launched devastating orbital bombardments on human colonies like Terra Nova and New Haven. Firelit skies marked the beginning of the war, but humanity's response was fierce. Guerrilla resistance sprang up at every turn, using hit-and-run strategies and ambush tactics in deep space. Captain Ala Miles, a former asteroid pilot, turned civilian mining vessels into combat-ready ships. "Every ship, every pilot, every hand is needed," she commanded. "We battle for more than survival. We fight for our existence." Back on the Council station, Zarel watched the war's progress with growing despair. Casualties mounted. Supply lines were severed. Strategic bases were lost. The Council's confidence began to waver. Meanwhile, Zarel worked in secret, sharing critical intelligence with humanity. With each covert operation, the tide shifted slightly in humanity's favor. But the cost was high, and Zarel knew the Council's suspicions were growing. "You have too much sympathy for the enemy," General Kreese accused in a low, menacing tone. "My actions are guided by reason," Zarel replied, unwavering. "If this council continues down this path, it will doom us all." In the field, Captain Miles led daring strikes, outmaneuvering the council's forces. Guerrilla fighters used their intimate knowledge of terrain and space to devastating effect. Each victory inspired humanity to press on. But the council retaliated, deploying deadlier technology with each passing day. The conflict became a brutal stalemate, bleeding resources and lives on both sides. In the shadows of the Council's archives, Zarel obtained critical intelligence about a devastating new weapon, a weapon capable of annihilating entire fleets. Risking everything, they sent the data to humanity. Captain Miles and her Ghost Squadron launched a daring operation under the cover of nebulae. Using stealth ships, they infiltrated the weapons depot, planted charges, and hacked systems to sabotage the weapon before it could be activated. As the Council prepared to unleash its ultimate power, the weapon depot erupted in a massive explosion. The loss crippled their war efforts, but Zarel's role did not go unnoticed. Accusations of treason loomed, and the diplomat faced the Council's wrath. Yet, Zarel remained resolute. "This war is not about power, it is about survival. If we continue, it will destroy us all." The Council's unity began to fracture under the strain of the prolonged conflict. Old rivalries resurfaced, and alliances faltered. Meanwhile, humanity, bolstered by Zarel's aid, continued to fight with unyielding determination. Captain Miles, her uniform singed and her spirit unbroken, stood over a tactical map in her temporary bunker. "We'll hold them accountable," she vowed. "For every inch of land, for every life taken, we will fight until we are free." The war dragged on, but the spirit of humanity refused to break. Each act of defiance, each victory, reminded the galaxy of a simple truth. Humanity would never yield. And as Zaral Keel walked the perilous line between diplomacy and betrayal, they clung to the hope that peace was still possible, a fragile hope in a galaxy consumed by war. In 3, 2, 1, the detonation was evident. The explosion was silent in the void of space, yet it was bright enough to illuminate the section targeted by the weapon. There were no further battles. In the bunker, a rare cheer erupted, a sound of triumph that bolstered the spirits of the weary soldiers. News arrived from the Council space station. The weapon had been destroyed. It struck like a physical blow. General Craig turned to the Council, his face a mask of fury and resolve. Their final hope, their ultimate weapon, was gone, marking a turning point in the conflict. Zarak, observing from the sidelines, recognized that now was the time to push for peace. Among the council members, whispers of doubt about the war's feasibility were growing. Zarak stepped forward, presenting a proposal to advocate for a ceasefire. This war has only brought destruction. It's time we all consider peace. We've seen enough death and devastation. The room filled with murmurs, some in agreement, others skeptical. Yet, the shift in sentiment was undeniable. The desire for peace was taking root, and fearing further losses, the council agreed to deliberate. Privately, Zarak appealed to General Craig's sense of duty and legacy. "You could be the one to end this, General. Lead by choosing peace over war. History will not forget that decision." Though it bruised his pride, Craig nodded. Pragmatism, winning over anger. Let the negotiations begin. Let's see if humanity truly desires peace as much as we do. Neutral ground was selected for the talks. A barren moon where humanity's representative, Captain A.A. Miles, bore the immense burden of representing her people. Despite the seriousness of the situation, A.A. spoke with steady determination, outlining the path to a lasting peace. Craig, tempered by recent events, acknowledged that compromises would be necessary. Both sides entered the talks with guarded intentions, and what began as hours of negotiation stretched into days. A treaty began to take shape, one that acknowledged human sovereignty while requiring the withdrawal of council forces. During the treaty's final stages, an alarming report arrived for General Craig. A strategic council base had been attacked, and suspicion fell on humanity. Tensions escalated. A.A. firmly denied any involvement, her words resolute. "We came here in good faith." Craig's cold gaze turned to Zarak. "Did you?" Zarak, maintaining his composure, insisted it was a misunderstanding. Chaos erupted as council guards attempted to detain the human delegation. Smoke bombs obscured the room. Communications were jammed, and the human team executed a carefully planned retreat. Outside, a human stealth ship swooped in, extracting A.A. and her team amidst the turmoil. As the ship departed, A.A. caught one last glimpse of Zarak, standing alone against the moon's stark light. "Thank you, Zarak," she whispered, knowing the diplomat had risked everything. Back at the council, Craig seethed with frustration. "Zarak," he hissed to his advisors, "has compromised us. Increase security. Prepare for the worst." Meanwhile, under close surveillance, Zarak worked tirelessly to rally support among the council for a lasting peace. Through covert communications and strategic alliances, he planted seeds of dissent against the endless war. As council chambers filled with heated debates, Zarak delivered an impassioned plea. "We've fought long and hard, but why must our people continue to suffer? Resources are dwindling. Peace isn't just an option, it's a necessity." Momentum shifted. A vote was called, and this time, the odds favored peace. Outmaneuvered, Craig was forced to agree. Representatives from humanity and the council signed a historic pact, broadcast across the galaxy as a symbol of hope. Zarak and A.A. stood side by side, their past struggles now a shared foundation for mutual respect. "This is just the beginning," AA said cautiously, while Zarek nodded. A beginning, yes, but one that envisions a future where we stand together, not as enemies, but as allies. As celebrations unfolded, Zarek felt a deep sense of relief and accomplishment. He had navigated the perilous waters of war and politics using words and determination rather than weapons. The fragile peace was a blank canvas, ready to be painted, with a new era of cooperation. Gazing at the stars, Zarek was reminded that even in the darkest times, a light always waits to be seen. Peace remained tenuous, but for now it was enough.